A dynamic duo.
My values have not changed.
Vice President Harris and her running mate, Governor Walz, share the stage for the first time during their campaign in a CNN exclusive. South Florida mayor behind bars.
Enforce the law. You take an oath of office, and it requires that you uphold the law. If you're not doing that, then you're really breaking the law.
The story behind her arrest. And there's a new sheriff in town.
I feel safer with it.
A look into the future of security guards. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Benjamin Kior.
I'm Ivanilewski. Today is Friday, August 30th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
An unprecedented, highly anticipated interview just months before Election Day. For the first time since her presidential nomination, Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, sat down with CNN's Dana Bash for an unscripted interview.
As CNN's Cheryl Hubbard reports, the interview comes days before the face-off between Harris and Trump.
Vice President Kamala Harris sitting down for her first unscripted interview with a major media outlet since becoming the Democratic nominee. CNN's Dana Bash asking the tough questions, like questions about Harris's perceived policy shifts over the years.
My values have not changed.
During this joint interview, her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, also addressed being on the defensive ever since accepting his nomination as Harris's VP pick.
If it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one thing I'll never do is I'll never demean another member's service in any way. I never have.
The sit-down allowing Harris to explain her position on key issues, notably her handling of immigration issues for which she's been criticized.
I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California, prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border.
The VP was asked about her opponent, Donald Trump, claiming she's only embracing her multiracial identity for political purposes.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black.
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please. Yeah. That's it? That's it. Okay.
Harris saying if elected, she'd invite Republicans to help her lead the country.
It would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
I'm Cheryl Hubbard reporting.
The mayor of Naples is now facing a DUI charge after being arrested Wednesday night. As WFTX Mahud Bene reports, police say her blood alcohol content was nearly double the legal limit.
According to the police report, Mayor Heitman drove her car into this yard on 16th Avenue South late Wednesday night, but wasn't quite sure how she got there. The report says she had slurred speech, watery eyes, and told police someone cut her off at a nearby roundabout. The man who lives here told me Mayor Heitman followed his son home in her car and began arguing with them in front of the house. That's when he called 911. The Collier County Sheriff's Office says Heitman was booked and spent the night at the Naples Jail Center. Many people who live in the city heard the news first thing Thursday morning.
Well, alcohol is a dangerous, evil thing sometimes. It makes you do things that you wish you had never done.
According to the police report, officers asked Heitman if she followed the car that cut her off, but Heitman said she didn't, despite being in their driveway. Police say her blood alcohol level was above 0.15.
So if she feels like she can just walk into somebody's driveway and start yelling, it's probably the booze talking.
In a statement to Fox 4 News, Councilmember Bill Kramer said this was sad news for all the good people of Naples. Quote, "She's in my prayers, and this event does not define Teresa Heitman." The Naples Police Department confirmed Mayor Heitman was the only person in her car.
Everybody's human. Even mayors are human. But if you enforce the law, that's integral to your job. You have to enforce the law. You take an oath of office, and it requires that you uphold the law. If you're not doing that, then you're really breaking the law.
On Thursday morning, Mayor Heitman posted a $500 bond and left the Naples Jail Center. She's set to appear in court on September 19th.
That was WFTX Mahud Bene reporting. Mayor Teresa Heitman won re-election in March of this year by 22 votes, a margin that forced a recount.
A Florida judge was granted a $100,000 bond for the former deputy who is charged with the death of a Black Air Force senior airman in May. Former Okaloosa deputy Eddie Duran was in court yesterday facing manslaughter charges for fatally shooting 23-year-old Roger Fortson during a false domestic disturbance call. Duran was fired after an investigation found that his life was not in danger. If convicted, he faces up to 30 years in prison.
A well-known black Trump supporter from Florida is taking a legal action against a Republican group after being called a slave. WBBH's Gina Tomlinson has more on the lawsuit.
If you've been to Republican events in Lee County, there's probably a good chance you've seen Carl Baxter. Friends say he's always wearing a red hat and a smile. The well-known black Trump supporter now has a lawsuit in federal court against a right-wing political group for being called a slave.
I don't know why he would go through this trouble if it wasn't true what he said.
According to the lawsuit, Baxter was working for the political group Americans for Prosperity. 12 days into the job, Baxter complained to his supervisor he felt he wasn't being properly paid. It was during that phone call, Baxter claims she said, "You are working as a slave, but at least you are getting paid. Many slaves today do get paid. Many used to never get paid. Are you a slave?" The suit says minutes later he was fired. The president of the NAACP in Lee County tells me he's known Baxter for 10 years. He's offended by the allegations.
He's not known as a reactionary type person, and I would venture to say that the lawsuit has merit.
The lawsuit also claims Baxter was here at Oasis restaurant in downtown Fort Myers when he turned down a $500 bribe from another member of Americans for Prosperity. Baxter claiming he was asked to provide dirt on Kid Coral Council member Patty Cummings.
My husband used to make big donations to Americans for Prosperity.
Elaine Green with the Lee County Republican Executive Committee says the organization is not what it used to be.
They're the original people for open borders, Chamber of Commerce people, just everything opposite of what we want, less government, less intrusion.
That was Gina Tomlinson from WBBH. The people mentioned in the lawsuit are not allowed to make any comments.
11 puppies' lives were claimed this morning after a fire erupted in a row house in Baltimore. The woman living there said she woke up to the smell of fire and within minutes lost nearly everything. The victim and 3 other pets survived. A firefighter rescued the ashes of the victim's son. The litter of 11 was 3 weeks old.
Management at one shopping center coming up with a unique solution to taking on crime. The Broward Center in Kansas City, Missouri, has employed the use of 600-pound security robot named Marshall that patrols at the parking lot 24 hours a day, scanning license plates and pulling the IP addresses off of nearby devices. He has cameras in every direction and records. He's the only unit of its kind in public anywhere in the area. Amanda Belmer is a property manager who says she doubted people would like him, but the shoppers like the extra protection.
I feel safer with it, most definitely, when I'm coming out from that gym late at night.
Marshall charges itself at random intervals for 15 to 30 minutes at a time. If you want a robot like this, the cost is just about $300,000.
The Marlins on the road and looking for a series split.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
What does that say about their faith in Andre Bailey? He drops back, he looks right, and that's a pick. Booker T. Washington.
Thursday night lights here in South Florida's most famous high school football field, but it was lightning that ended up the showstopper. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
See us dream. See us remember. See us protest.
You matter. Your feelings matter. Your identity matters. Everything about who you are matters.
See us fight back. See us rebuild. See us shatter stereotypes. See us inspire. See us united. See us now.
There There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
A South Florida showdown in the stadium known as the Mecca of high school football. Last night, the Palmetto Panthers faced off against the Booker T. Washington Tornadoes in a special high school edition of Thursday Night Football. I got to do the call for the 305 Plus Network, and while it's only week 2, we might have already witnessed the play of the year. Take a listen.
Run it out of the end zone. He's running it back down the sideline. Faith in Andre Bailey. He drops back. He looks right, and that's a pick. Booker T. Washington makes the play. He's going to run it out of the end zone. He's running it back down the sideline. He's got a lane here. He can be all the way. Nobody in front of him. He has made his way to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Booker T. Washington. A 100-yard pick six to start the action. That is what Florida football is all about.
How awesome was that? Following the 100-yard pick six by Ben Hanks III, Palmetto's Andre Bailey, their quarterback, responded late in the second quarter with a 40-yard touchdown pass to Kadir Battle to tie the game. Unfortunately, the Gridiron Showdown was ruled a no contest after several lightning delays. At the time, Palmetto led the contest 10-9.
The Miami Marlins faced off against the Colorado Rockies in an exciting matchup. Derek Hill and Kyle Stowers power the Marlins with homers, pushing them to a 6-2 lead. The Rockies rally with back-to-back homers, but Hill's second blast in the sixth secured the win. The final score was Marlins 12, Rockies 8. The next series will be again in with the San Francisco Giants tonight at 10:15 p.m. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood,
brother,
or a hurricane?
Probably.
You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I was depressed in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came, my pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I help our fellows design their paths as creative entrepreneurs. My experiences serving startups, creative businesses, and cultural organizations, and my journey as a queer mixed immigrant with Haitian and Arabic roots, inform the co-creative environment we foster at Radcliffe. We leverage our collective diversity to encourage the building of lifelong personal learning networks and mindsets that stimulate continuous innovation.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Benjamin Cure.
I'm Ivan Ilewski.
Today's show featured a live studio audience from Pinecrest North Prep. We thank you all so much for joining us today in studio, and for those of you watching at home, get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.